Hey guys, welcome to the Shack and LTWK podcast. Every week we talk about cool stuff that we like to do, hang out, guy stuff, whatever it may be. Camping, fishing, hunting, cars, trucks, just all the cool stuff in the world. Sammy, what are we going to talk about this week?
This week we're going to talk about camping and camping gear.
Dig it. I like where we're going with this one. This could be a long episode, guys, so stay tuned.
You might want to pop some popcorn. This could take a while.
Yeah, I would. Heck yeah, man. Put your feet up.
You know, I love popcorn while camping. In fact, we're camping right now, and I have some Jiffy Pop.
I do love the Jiffy Pop on the fire.
I have that. We should maybe do that.
I too love popcorn.
Well, then,
Yeah,
after
just
this,
coming around
know
about
that we are going to go
noon
have
every day
popcorn.
and smell the office.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Truly.
Sometimes it's a little burnt.
It's a little...
Oh, geez, one time.
But it's not like he's chef preparing it. You throw it in the bag in the microwave. What happens, happens.
Yeah.
It's science.
Yeah,
Actually, it's funny because we're talking about camping stuff, but my scoutmaster, when I was little, introduced me to popcorn on the stove with a device called a whirly pop. And it's like a wire in the bottom of a pot, and you spin it, and it makes popcorn that way. Best popcorn I've ever had. Just fantastic.
See, when I was little, we had one of those air popper things that heated up and it popped the
See, I've
popcorn
never
out of the
had
chute,
that.
We
but
had
it had
one
the
of
little
those too.
metal
Yeah,
tray that you
I've
melted
seen
the butter
them,
in.
but I've never tried it. Good.
See, I'm not a huge popcorn guy unless it's covered in that Popeye stuff.
Oh, I could eat it
That
every
orange
day.
Popeye.
But have you tried it with the Red Hawk stuff that we've been getting? Because it is fantastic with a little bit of spice.
Yeah.
I know
I use
some-
barbecue seasoning. It's
Really?
awesome.
All right, now back to camping.
Camping. So if we're going to talk camping gear, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's jump into some gear. Who gets to start? Where you want to start?
Let's start with Nick, because he's a gear guy. He's got a little bit of
And
everything.
we are surrounded,
I don't
officially
know.
surrounded by
Let's-
gear
I was about to say,
carnivores.
Right on.
If our listeners get the chance to check out the videos that we did this weekend of the walkarounds of our trucks, you will definitely be able to tell that we are all gear aficionados. We all appreciate our gear and
For
the
sure.
stuff we can do with it. I
The
mean,
stuff we can't do with it.
the stuff we can do
The
with
stuff
it.
we just pretend like we can do
Yeah.
with it.
Especially the knives. We definitely
Or
love our knives.
The stuff we bring once and trade it to the other guy because
There
we can't
is
figure
that.
out how to open it.
Hey, if it fits in your car, you might as well bring it with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Or
were
bolts to the roof.
So make roof
outfitted better
racks.
than some places, like some stores.
I feel like we
this
out
weekend.
equip like small countries and armies.
We could probably, supply ourselves as like a unit.
We
Yeah.
definitely could have with the food this week.
Oh, I am sorry.
We only brought 60 plus eggs
Yeah, we're gonna have to put Nick on food restriction buying.
for
I
5
think he's got enough for
guys.
the rest of the year.
I just got over enthusiastic with buying the food this weekend.
How thick was the steak you measured it?
It was like 17 inches or something. That was insane.
It was 2.
They were
2
New York strip
inch
steaks
steak.
that had cut for us.
Now, not complaining. Don't misunderstand
I know,
this.
that was a little bit thick even for me.
But man, was that a big steak. But it was fantastic.
It came out nice. And if you ever have the chance to cook on the scuttle, which is an excellent piece of camping gear, it's Tembo tusk, right?
Yes.
It makes the scuttle. I
Mhm.
would recommend that because it is a very nice piece of equipment.
Huge fan of cast iron for camping in
Yes,
general.
yes,
Yeah.
me too.
The
You know, the
scottles make
scuttle-
life very easy.
When we first got it, though, I was a little bit miffed. It does take, it's a learning curve.
Oh, sure.
There's
sure.
no doubt about it.
Mhm.
But man, once you get it figured out and you get the thing rolling, I mean, we don't even camp without it.
That's
Matter of
the only
fact, we
thing I
come down to
cook
the
on.
cabin that has its own stove and stuff, and we still put the scuttle on the back porch.
Well, it's sort of like a wok and a hibachi got together
And had a cast iron baby.
right,
Yeah.
right, because you've got the hot spot in the middle, cooler edges. You're able to push stuff around, and yeah, it's very neat. Tomorrow we're gonna try cooking pancakes on the scuttle, and that's gonna be interesting.
Super big scuttle fans. However, when you got that lid off of where Amazon
I
for the
did.
scuttle, that changed things up too again.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah, that kind
lid
of
is
changed
very
things up.
nice. So
Will it let you
Well, what the
simmer
yeah,
more?
yeah, I was going to say, tell them what the lid actually helps with.
It helps keeping the heat in.
Well,
Yeah.
it's sort of almost like
It
a simmering
convections.
thing.
Yeah.
It was very nice, yeah.
Turn heat down a little bit.
Now we've done. Well, yesterday
Everything.
we did grilled cheese.
Did grilled cheese on
We've
there.
done steaks. We've done seafoods. We've
Yep.
done chickens,
We did
fajitas.
I cooked pasta on it once.
Gravy.
Right?
Cinnamon
Gravy.
rolls.
Last weekend down at the lake, we did
Cinnamon rolls.
gravy.
There's
I've
another
seen
good
people
camping
cook bread
food.
on it. I've not attempted that.
I've heard the cinnamon roll thing. Haven't seen it yet, but
We-
I,
We'll have
I
to
can
do it.
believe
We
it.
have to try that.
I have a official Scotto cookbook.
Really?
With all these different recipes in it.
Do
Can
you
do
have
oatmeal?
the grate you
Can I
need
do
for
oatmeal
baking?
in the Scotto?
Do you have one of the grates for
I'm
baking?
sure we can pick one up.
I don't have one, but that's coming, so I can make
Yeah.
some cinnamon
That's
rolls.
we can take one of those round wire racks from Walmart and actually bend a few of the tines to make the legs,
Yeah.
and you'll have exactly
Yeah.
what you need.
Now, when the five of us get together, we dual scuttle. We got the two
Yeah.
scuttles running off a splitter on one big tank, and we have leg extenders because I'm 6'3" and I hate to bend over.
It's
So
very nice
now
for
it's
me,
up here.
too.
It's, I don't even have to bend over to touch the scuttle anymore. This rock.
You could say lift kit. It has a lift.
It has a lift
It does
kit.
have a
And
lift
it's
kit.
adjustable 3 to 6 inches. I like it.
Yeah, unlike the truck.
Right.
But honestly, since we've gotten both Scottles, I don't think we've ever just cooked on one. No matter whether it's just you and I or all of us, we're still running both. Just
Well,
It's
it's like
easy.
having 4 burners on your stove.
It makes it really easy. Like,
You can time your
do
food a lot better because
Yeah.
you've got different things going at different
things you
times.
want that take a little longer. You can throw on the one, get them going while you prep for the other one, and so on and so forth. But definitely is working its way into one of my favorite pieces of
Oh, yeah.
cooking gear for camping.
Down at Expo East last year on the cleanup side of things, and it was a cold day, a cold
Yeah.
weekend. We put the water in the scuttle, heat it up to clean the scuttle, but we do the utensils and all the dishes in that scuttle water because it kept it warm
Yeah.
and you could do it up. Man, that was fantastic. The scuttles are super easy to clean up.
Yeah, when we did fish on there, actually, that was how I got, because sometimes fish gets a little sticky, so there were some bits stuck on there at the end. That was how I got it clean. Is I boiled some water on there and it came right off. So
Yeah.
very
I have
nice.
one of the GSI cast iron scrapers.
I
Those
like
things
those.
are
I bought one of those as well.
spectacular.
I don't know if I like the GSI one better or the Lodge scraper better, but
The
either
Lodge is
way-
very nice, but I like the GSI utensils, and
Ah,
usually
yes.
you can get a scraper in a lot of the utensil kits.
True, very true.
And I like how they've got the softer side on one side and the hard side on the other. The Lodge is really just all that one
It is,
diameter.
yeah, very hard. But,
I just bought the big GSI kit to put into my cooking utensil set. I love it because they all fold in half.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, those are pretty
I
handy.
just saw that at our
definitely.
Yeah.
The big kit.
Yeah,
That's
I got
still
the
pretty
full
nice.
size kit.
See,
Pretty
I
easy to
have
clean up.
2 of the small ones because I like the 3 utensils: the spatula, the tongs, and the spoon with the measurements on
Right.
it. So I just have 2 of those.
You know who else really likes those is and his name escapes me right now, but the gentleman that makes the firebox stoves. If you guys haven't seen those, definitely worth checking out. But he loves those GSI.
Yeah.
The same.
And
concept
they're
you're talking
spice
about.
containers that screw together, so you can have 3 different flavors in one. Those are
Oh, nice.
I
Now-
use that every day.
Now remember, at the end of your scuttle cleaning, lard.
Yeah.
Coat that
Yeah.
thing, warm it up, coat it in lard.
Just like
man.
any other.
Got to
piece of
keep good
cast iron.
seasoning on it, and then
Yeah.
your sausage gravy won't stick.
Especially if you do
Right.
what we're talking about with the water, because that has a tendency to start to break down your seasonings.
Yeah.
But I would say Scottle is definitely one of my favorite pieces of camping gear now. They're working its way into there.
my only complaint about the Scottle
Yeah.
are the top and the legs are 2 separate bags.
Yeah.
That is my only
I don't
complaint
quite
about it. And I
understand
know
that.
that there's really nothing you can do because of the way that the legs are,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Why don't we zip tie his legs to the handle of his carry bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's happy. It's all one piece then.
If you made
I
the
can do a lot of
Scottle,
That's your only
well, see, but
complaint?
the legs don't
Like-
even have a handle. The leg bag doesn't have a handle.
Keep
It's
the
'cause it's not
legs
heavy,
in
you
the
don't need to-
legs in the bow and arrow quiver.
it's definitely not
There you go.
Scuttle quiver.
Scuttle quiver.
off
Yes.
snap. It's definitely, I would call it a car camping or overlanding piece of equipment, though.
Oh, for sure. You would not backpack with a Scottle.
Yeah, but
You put a
I'll
couple
tell you.
straps on it, I might carry it.
Yeah.
Doing these trips, even like going to a campground for the weekend or something, going
Oh, yeah.
kayaking, just going camping, whatever. Man,
Yeah.
you gotta have a scuttle. I'm
Oh.
not kidding you.
Yeah, instead
Once
of
you
busting
get
on a
into it.
grill, I would probably actually rather do the Scottle. It's
You
easier
could
to clean,
almost
it's a little more
Escape
efficient.
having the stove and the grill in
Right.
exchange for a Scottle.
Yeah.
You're right. Right. That's
Yeah,
true.
that is a piece of gear that I don't want to go without.
I think
And
you
again,
could
I'm
do.
not a backpacker, so I don't need to go super
No,
light.
but you could do jet boil and scottle and cover
Yeah.
90
Oh, yeah.
See, that's probably
of the
my,
bases.
one of
A lot
my
of stuff. Yeah.
most favorite pieces of camp cooking gear. And actually, it was you,
Correct.
LT, that introduced me
Yeah.
to the jet boil. And I absolutely have adored that thing ever since.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I even bring it even though I know I'm never going to use it. It's just like comforting to know
Oh,
I
dude,
have
I
it.
used it. I used it this morning.
Yeah.
Because before anyone gets up, getting that quick boil and bag cup of coffee going.
Mhm.
It's like 2 minutes to boil. I can get a coffee on because we have the percolator
Yeah.
naturally on the camp stove. But yeah, get the quick boil and bag, and then like if because it's been a big if we don't take the scottle and I'm doing like a different kind of trip, oatmeal, boil and bag, Lipton noodle soup.
Yeah.
I mean, those are my staples. So
Yeah, for sure.
I have two of them.
jet boils.
One is in the truck all the time.
Well, you just
Under
made
the
coffee, 5 minutes ago, and you're
Yeah.
Yes, I keep one in the
Yeah,
pantry
me
box,
too.
in the Pelican box, and one is under the back seat all the time.
I was about to say, even when you're just traveling, if you're in a hotel, I'm not recommending to anyone out there in the world.
No, but they
that
do
you-
have balconies in hotels.
Right, that you do anything like this in your hotel room.
Cook on the
But
tailgate.
I will say, if you maybe, if you're in a safe place for using it,
Like the bathtub.
like out in the parking lot maybe, or something like that, it's a really great way to get your cup of coffee.
You know what I love to use it for? 2 cups of hot water is like the perfect amount for doing dishes at the end of your day.
good point. Jeff, I have
'Cause
definitely.
you
heated
don't
up
have to
water for
boil
dishes.
water on
Yeah.
the stove. You just 90 seconds, you get your 2 cups of water, you dump it into your sink
Yeah.
area, and you've got enough water to do dishes.
See, another thing for me in the jet boil is I don't actually cook food in that container.
Yeah, I mean,
Ever.
that's just for
It's
If
water.
it's
just
coffee,
for-
I'll do.
Well,
See, I
on
don't
the
even do
coffee
that.
press, that's it.
I don't do that. I put it in something else.
I've
Yeah,
been known
I
to cook the
only use
occasional
that for water.
ramen in mine.
That's just a habit I got into.
Yeah,
Is,
see, for me, I mostly, even if it's something simple like ramen, I'll do that in a separate container.
because I always have a separate container.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue. I've never put, again, not being a backpacker and trying to get down small on gear. Most of the time, I'm within walking distance of the Jeep.
Sure.
So,
Sure. Now, like, a majority of the time I spend in the woods anymore is hiking. So, like, and I mentioned earlier a little bit, that firebox stove usually goes with me everywhere there because that's like the great piece of kit if you want to sit and have a fire somewhere where there's no fire ring because it, essentially functions that way. It forces you to slow down and actually enjoy the moment a little bit. So those are probably my 3 favorite stoves right there, cooking pieces of gear: scuttle, jet boil, and firebox.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not a
that's
fan
good.
of the fireboxes.
No,
I'm
man.
too impatient.
It definitely takes.
I think that's why I like the jet boil
Yeah.
because I'm 2 minutes from
My
coffee.
my third stove, Scottle jet boil, and then the Primus stove that has the grill on one side and the single burner.
See, that's how mine's set up.
And it's a cast
You're
iron
not a
grill
fan.
and a single burner. It's,
I would rather have my old Coleman dual fuel for a full size stove like that.
I do like those small cook stoves, but honestly, since we got the Scottle X number of years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
I've just not even really considered those anymore. Jet boil and Scottle, I don't need anything else. Other than that, it's
definitely-
campfire.
It definitely covers you.
You know, if
Yeah,
I'm going
okay.
after that, it's going to be the campfire for me. That's
Yeah.
where I go.
16-inch cast iron skillet, bacon, midnight.
There you go. Yeah.
So now, like when you're out in the woods, and we all like our coffee except mine. His coffee's Pepsi.
I like tea too. I'm one of those weirdos that likes both.
Do you like? Because my wife likes to have a ceramic cup to drink
Nah.
out of. You don't have to.
I like my steel cups honestly the best. If I could have that at home all the time, I would
Doesn't
do
matter
that.
for me.
See,
Yeah.
for me,
This one here is stainless.
yeah, that one's a stainless one. For me, I actually the same mug I drink out of at work.
Yeah.
I
It's-
travel with it. It's with me now, and
Same
that's what
thing
I.
for me.
So I don't change.
I
that.
love a ceramic mug, but for different reasons. Because I drink chocolate milk out of it, and it is nice and cold. A lot longer. You put chocolate milk in a ceramic coffee cup,
Get you one of these double walls, and then you'll
I
be.
won't have it that long.
So you don't care, 10 cup, ceramic cup, mug.
Paper
doesn't
bag.
matter. There are, like Elaine, she packs ceramic cups because she likes to have her
Really?
coffee in a ceramic
Interesting.
cup
Yeah, I
in the
didn't know
morning.
that. Yeah, no, I've never been a really.
would.
I'm not opposed to having legitimate like plates and cups while camping. I think that adds sort of that level of comfort, especially if you're car camping where you've got the room.
Yeah.
Like I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
I've often considered those like enamel plates and cups. And,
Yeah, I went through.
I always thought I liked the
really
cup. I don't know if
Yeah.
I like the plate so much, but I think I'd like the cup because we have one of the. Matter of fact, I think I have 2 of the enamel coffee cups,
Yeah.
the blue things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blue
And I
stuff
like
and
them a
stuff.
lot. I think I'd like the cup maybe.
The nice thing about the plates is they are super easy to clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, really?
Yep,
everything
and
is
they
coming
have silverware
right
that's
off.
stainless with the enamel handles that everything kind of just wipes right
But
off
the
of.
problem is, if it starts to chip,
Yeah, you're done.
No,
You're
it's
done.
not.
No, it rusts.
I would love to find, but the old like wicker picnic basket that had
Oh,
all the
yeah, I
plates
have
and
one of
everything all
those.
snapped into it
Yeah.
from the 50s and stuff
Look
like
on
that.
eBay, man.
I
I'm sure
know.
there's stuff out there.
That's old school. New school is having the pantry cupboard from Alucab that comes with everything in it.
Or a
It's
drawer
got
slide
plates,
system.
it's got forks, it's got a teapot, it's got wine glasses, and it's only $300.
Yeah.
that's a piece of.
So is that on your short list?
It wouldn't be.
Might be on the
I
wife's
wouldn't be
short
opposed to trading someone for that.
So
Can we cut access panels into the side of the trailer and just mount it there?
Oh snap!
You've got that cool slide-out kitchen thing. I can figure
Well, that's
something out.
different. I got 2 worlds now. I go camping. If I'm solo camping, I do one thing. If I'm family camping, we got a little.
Well, then you don't need plates if you're solo camping. All you do is drink coffee and eat beef jerky.
Well, yeah, true.
Hey, I've had him steak.
Yes, but if I could pop open the side door on the Alu cab and go, hey,
Pull out a
look at
wine
this.
glass.
well, now he has the recovery gear.
Yeah.
What if you pop that up and there's all the breakfast?
We should make a mini bar.
Kind of cool. That would be cool.
You
'cause
know what?
You know what I like the best about it? It's eye level and you got to bend over to pick it up. Holy crap!
You could have
I
the
like
bed
that.
crammed full of camping gear, and I need a yank strap. Open
Right.
that door, there it
I
is.
love that.
Yeah.
I do love
I
that.
did have it on the roof in a Pelican box, which was great. Same reasoning. Bed could be full of stuff. It's right there, except when I needed the yank strap in the winter. And
it
the
froze
Pelican
shut.
latches were
I
frozen.
remember that. That
with
was
a
tough.
Freeze, thaw,
Yeah.
freeze, and then
That
the water
was
get
tough.
it, and then it freeze. I couldn't get the dang buckles open.
There
And
needs
you
to
remember
be-
I ran into that. I almost couldn't get in my Pelican.
I
And that's
do.
when I quit locking it.
I do not have that set up
There
anymore.
needs to be like
I-
a weather cover for the Pelican case. So
Well, the
when
case
you
itself
snap
was
it.
fine. It was the lock.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the latches get full of water.
Because I think I even had
Well, he had
brass
a
ones.
padlock.
Oh, you
Arrow.
know,
Oh,
I
I
never locked
dang
mine.
near
Yeah.
did not get
Yeah.
in mine.
So
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
wasn't a failure of the Pelican
Ah,
case; it was
mine-
a failure of the lock
Okay.
itself.
I
You've
thought it
had
was the case.
buckle freezing.
Yes.
yeah,
I,
and again, that
I
was
did
weather.
pound on the buckles with the end of the multi-tool, and I think I got in there, but I'm like, either one of these buckles is going to break, they'll probably warranty it, or
I'm
something
sure
got to
they
give.
take
I
care of
need it.
It's a
I
great
need the
case.
extra.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very nice case. I sold that with the last truck, though. It was a package deal.
Right.
Um,
So if you like, again, we were talking about like things we always take with us. I have this. I think it's German or Swedish cook kit
Mhm.
that has like the lid. It's oval shaped.
Yeah.
With the, you know what I'm talking
Two
about,
Boy
right?
inside.
Scout kit.
No,
sort
it
of.
wasn't
No.
a Boy Scout kit, but it was very similar. To
It
that.
had a stove on the inside, and I think it might have been an alcohol stove,
It
right?
should
Yeah.
have been a
With a-
Transmedia stove for
Yeah,
a
with a-
Swedish kit. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Those
a
are
Swedish. Okay.
Great kits.
Well, I took out the guts, so I'm only using the container itself, which I set up with a bale.
Yep.
So I could boil water in it, and then the cup has a handle,
Yep.
so I can use. So, like you were talking about, you like having plates with you.
Mhm.
Man, if I have that,
It does
I'm
both.
golden.
It does
Again,
both.
that's my happy place. Give me a jet boil, that, a scuttle, a couple of little things,
Yeah.
and I'm.
See, like I
like
come
that
from
for eating now.
the backpacking mountaineering world,
Yeah.
and like everything from when I was into it was like how little could you get? People were
Right.
drilling holes in their sporks to make them lighter and
Right,
cutting their
cutting the
toothbrushes
handles
off.
the
and-
toothbrushes. That's my
Like-
my background too.
So now it's like, as you get further into overlanding and legitimate car camping, and I've kind of gone the opposite way. I
Because
started
more is
out
better in overlanding.
this way,
That's why we have
with
trucks.
if you can get it down to 18 pounds, you're golden. Ultra lightweight camping.
Man.
To
If you can get it up to 1,800 pounds, you're
yeah,
doing
if
something right.
if you don't exceed GVW on your overland rig, you're golden.
Yeah.
So like, I look at it as those are luxuries for me when I go camping.
For sure.
So
For sure.
like, I'm used to having the little spork, fork one end, spoon on the other thing, and it's
Yep.
like I said, no, I'm buying legitimate forks, and I'm going to have forks in my kitchen.
Sam and I just had the spork talk 2
Mhm.
days ago. it was like, I have carried this fork, and it's a nice fork, titanium. And it's not that I don't dislike it, but I was like, I never use this as a spoon, and I truly don't, because if I have soup, I drink it.
Yeah.
So the only thing,
spork doesn't work like
yeah,
a spoon.
see,
that's the
that's
issue.
the
with the
thing.
spork.
I
doesn't.
never could warm up to the spork.
No.
And I
So
really tried.
I'm going to change out my piece of kit. I'm going to
See-
drop my spork and go with just a stainless steel fork on the
On
side
my
of my
jet
boil.
boil,
That's where I put it.
on my jet boil, they have that little
Yeah, that's where I carry
neoprene
my
sleeve.
That's where I put my
I have
Sea
one of
to
those
Summit
giant Sea to Summit
Yep,
spoons
me
that's
too.
for mountain house meals. So
Yep,
you can
it's
reach
the
into the
long
bottom of the
one,
bag.
so you
I
get
leave
the
that,
bar.
and I leave the arm for the coffee press for my wife.
Oh,
So
It's
those
good,
two
too,
things
right?
live
Too.
Yeah.
in there.
I have broken my share of sporks. I'm not a fan of the spork either.
Yeah.
I just picked up a couple new GSI, the plastic fork,
Yeah.
separate, and spoon from REI.
Yeah.
They're 75 cents a piece.
Yeah.
The spork's $3, and I'm gonna break it. I know it. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure I got a few left, but I'd rather use it.
That's what I mean. I got a nice titanium spork, and it does work. It's just that I keep sitting there, I'm looking at it, it's like, well, why do I keep
There
carrying this
are
instead of
there
just
are
a fork?
really good sporks like that function legitimately as a spoon, and there are not good sporks
I
that
don't know, maybe,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe I'll just put a spoon and a fork on the side of my jet bowl
Yeah.
and call it done. Because again, I'm not backpacking.
I'm telling
you
you, those
always
Lexan
try.
forks that we have that Scooter just picked up, those are some
Yeah,
nice colors.
they're-
They're
Oh
sturdy.
yeah, I watched them. Yeah,
They're sturdy.
no, they
It's a
aren't.
real
They're
spoon.
they're way better than a plastic.
I've
Yeah.
never. I did melt one of those one time, and I forget what happened. I think it fell on like a hot skillet or something, and before I could get it off of there, it started to melt on the one edge. But besides that,
Did you
they're
take it to the shop,
basically
put it on a
indestructible.
belt sander, smooth it over?
Oh, this was way back in the way Boy Scout days and stuff. But yeah, but other than that, I've never cracked one or
Yeah,
busted
that
the tine
Lexan's
off one.
pretty indestructible
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
and it
tough.
doesn't hold bacteria. So even if you can't wash right away, you can still eat off that stuff.
I still think, again, for me, I'm not looking at weight. I don't care. Why not just seriously just take a fork and a spoon?
Well,
So,
the Lexan's
I mean,
not
just a
that heavy
stainless
either.
steel.
No, it's
No,
super light.
it's
No.
cool, but I think I'm not. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stay with the metal. Why? I mean, why not? Because
I've never tried to take the titanium spork. That's probably better. I've had a titanium spoon.
it still doesn't have the deep tones of a fork. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still.
I've done the titanium spork. I wasn't.
Yeah.
As weird as this might sound, I was at a reenactment of a frontier festival a couple weekends ago, and I got to see some of the silverware that those guys use. I fell in love with their fork because it's got tines that are huge. They're like super long.
Yeah, it's like a barbecue fork.
Yeah, you could cook with it.
2 or 3 times, right? Not the 4 that we're used
Right.
to. Yeah.
And yeah, it had 3 tines, and then they had horn spoons. And I'm like, this is lighter than Lexan.
What's a horn spoon?
It's made from a cow's horn.
Oh,
Like it's
okay.
Oh, like a
spoon
shoehorn.
Shape,
shaped, yeah,
Ah.
Some sort of design.
Out of-
Okay.
into a spoon, yeah.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
I did pick up a set. I'm looking forward to trying that on some more trips.
Yeah, that could be cool.
But yeah,
That'll look really good in your Hill People Gear
it'll look weird.
chest rig.
Now, as far as knives, I mean, we're a knife company.
Yeah, we're gonna
number
go
one.
there.
So,
We're gonna have a whole episode right here just in the
well, I mean, we probably all have kitchen sets in our stuff at one point or another. We all carry multiple knives on us. Lately, it might be because I just have it with me all the time. Man, the folder that we made, the Gambler, that is what cuts my stuff at lunchtime and anything that I do most of the time. Wipe it off, put it back in my pocket, and go.
I did, but the stonewash on the Gambler, not liking that for food. So I use that knife every day, but I usually pull out the Leatherman because it's stainless, and that's what I use to cut my food. Although tonight I did cut the steak for the fajitas. I did use the Gambler. I'm like, this is scuttle cooked, and it's got all kind of wacky sauce and juice on it. Screw it, I'm cutting it with the Gambler.
Yeah.
So it did not. There was no stuff that came off when I wiped that knife off. So either it just finally came off on the meat and I ate it. Who cares? Or I got it seasoned enough that it's not. But usually it's the leather.
That's the one thing we don't have a problem with our knife
No.
side of things. I
Well-
mean, whether it be a Scandi or whatever we're using.
I think our only problem with our knives, when it comes to that particular realm of gear for us, is we have a problem. I know I do. Picking which one I'm using right then. Like I have my flat ground knife, I have my Scandies, I have my sabers, and then all different sizes, and
Well, a lot of the thought behind the kitchen set came out of camping.
Yeah,
You know, when we,
for sure.
and when I say that, when we're going to shows and we're camping out in outdoor shows, and we have to be able to prepare our stuff. Number one, we got to get it done. It's got to be right. It's got to be good, and so
Definitely
that's where
fits
kitchen
that
knife
bill.
and the whole set kind of came from, and then teaming up with Blue Ridge on the bags. Yeah,
For
way
sure.
to go. So I think knives, man, we're covered top to bottom.
I really-
Wait, explain that whole kit for gear and everybody else is not familiar with it. We have a whole kitchen bag with 4 cutlery knives, with a Kydex sleeve and a cutting board.
A removable Kydex sleeve.
Yeah.
Removable, yes, and one of the Velcro clear pouches from Blue Ridge that you can put your spices in or your
Yep.
sports
And there's
or
room
some
for
other
2
stuff.
more, so you can add utensils and
You've probably
handy
used-
wipes and everything
You
like that.
unzip it, hang it off a tree or the side of your truck, it lays flat, it's fantastic.
Sam, you probably used that piece of gear the most. I mean, you liking it?
The kitchen set?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I use it for about everything. My favorite knife in it's got to be the large powder, though. It
That's
seems
my
to do
favorite
just
knife.
about everything I want it to do when I'm at camp. But I tell you what, the Traveler, Thanksgiving Day, carving a turkey is fantastic.
I've used a lot of different models on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made some interesting Thanksgiving videos. You're usually a couple cups into your eggnog then, too. That's part of it, I
That doesn't matter. One year I used the Bushcrafter and I said, Mom, you have to use this knife to cut your turkey and I'm going to take pictures. She's game. She went.
I remember this was a while back. I
Yeah,
remember
it was
getting
a while
it. That's when I was new to Facebook. And I only had the one friend, and that was you. So I got all your pictures. But yeah, so knives.
That's before
man,
the
we're covered.
algorithms kicked in.
And the cool thing, like every time we go out, we're always looking at like, oh man, I'm going to make myself this next thing, this next knife. Like if you look at my Jeep right now,
You just built yourself a new knife for your new hobby.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I just built a kayak knife. Absolutely.
And that came out really nice.
But I keep 2 or 3 on the tailgate, 1 in the side door sleeve, and they're all different because I was like, oh man, this is a really cool thing. I'm going to start carrying this and I'm going to do a little campcraft with it or what. Yeah, it's fun. So I think
believe
knives.
every one of our trucks that is lettered up is a small rolling billboard, display case.
Even the ones without stickers and stuff. Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, a certain
Listen.
FJ.
And
the
Rams.
And the old man Ram.
Yeah, they're getting stickers.
Yes,
I saw
but
the
if they-
mock-up of his truck. He's getting stickers.
It'll change.
be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
I mean,
these-
if you see from a long distance away, what's that zebra stripe looking thing? No, buddy, those are knives. Oh,
So, yeah,
LTWK.
If you're not familiar, or
Now
you've
ask
never
us to
been
look at a
our-
knife. I'm sure we got 6 or 10.
If you've ever been to the LT Wright Knives website, you can see our vehicles on there have stickers all along the side. So I mean,
And-
my Jeep's on there, LT's Jeep's on there,
And they
Scott's
are life
Toyota.
size stickers.
They are
So
big.
if you want to know how
stickers.
big the machete is, just go look at the truck.
Yes,
pretty much
they
right.
are.
They are
stickers.
to scale.
Yep. Very cool. We
Oh,
like them
absolutely.
ones. We're very fond of them.
So we know knives are cool, and we got all those covers. Our kitchen set, we love what we got going on there.
What about
So-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what do you got?
No.
Okay, well, moving past like the knives, and I think have we covered all the food
Oh
things?
gosh, I think
We
so.
need to touch a little on
Sleep
what do you
systems.
carry, just on the knife subject still. What do you carry when you're backpacking or hiking? Because
Oh.
like you don't have your vehicle there. You don't have all your
Camera
stuff.
hands
Yeah.
down.
You're talking knife wise?
Yeah.
I would still carry my Genesis.
I'm
I
going to have the gambler on me for sure. the
Oh
little
yeah,
four.
right in the pocket.
And probably something next gen, Bush Baby, something like that maybe. A little bit lighter. Still
Camera.
capable.
Camera for me all the way. That's the bomb knife, man. I love that thing.
Yeah, I would be definitely gambler, definitely Genesis. I mean, that's just my knife. I mean, I just like it.
Sammy.
Going large workhorse.
That's a
It's
classic.
got to be my favorite.
Yeah, it's
I've
one of
been running the
greatest
large
patterns.
powder lately.
Good thin knife. I mean, there's
I
no
dig
doubt.
that. I dig
Yeah.
that.
We get a lot of people saying that they like that as an overall knife. With
It's a
large
great
powder.
knife.
Mhm.
I guess maybe we ought to start taking it, trying to sell it more from a different point of view than just kitchen because it is multi-use.
Well, the
Maybe
Georgia
it's
Bushcraft
stainless.
guys had us build a run of large powders for them with 3/8 desert ironwood scales on them, and they're selling them on their website.
Which
Yeah.
man.
I think a
You
lot of
put-
the pouthouse guys like the large
Yeah.
powder too,
Mhm.
right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they get a lot of feedback on
When you
those.
put those thicker
Sure.
scales on there, that
It
might
completely
really-
changes the complexity of that knife.
Well, it gives you a lot more to hold on to for sure.
So if you're, we got our cooking kind of things. Now, we probably each have like our staple favorite breakfast. Now, granted, when the five of us are together, we eat good.
Too
we
good.
eat
that
real,
someone's-
real good breakfast.
Yes.
They're the
There
reason
is
I have a fatty liver.
nothing.
I almost killed Sam this morning.
There is nothing
With
like
food, not violence.
It was worth
breakfast
it
in the
in the end.
woods. Breakfast in the woods is awesome. Now, let's just assume I'm going out and it's going to be a quick weekend by myself. Apple and cinnamon oatmeal and my jet bowl. I mean, that's my go-to.
Quick solo weekend. Huh?
You know, kind of like that is my breakfast. 2 bags, apple, cinnamon, hot water, and go to town.
Mm.
What do you got?
Let's see. I don't get too many of those weekends. However, I remember the very first year I went to PWIP, a camp out trip with Timmy Stetzer. I took my sleeping bag, a sleeping pad, a Kelly kettle to heat water up, and in a Pelican box I made up bags of like trail mix that had M&Ms and beef jerky, and I brought a can of peanut butter. I ate minimal because I'm all about eating good when I camp. If it's there, if I'm by myself, I honestly don't care a whole lot. I'll just eat.
That's the year you tied a tarp to a tree and just slept on the ground, though, right?
Correct. Oh, I was.
He
Whatever
was
hardcore.
practicing what he preached.
Whatever
Yeah,
was
it
in
was
that
hardcore,
backpack, other than
I
the
remember.
Pelican case, I was taking paracord to tie knots and stuff too. But it did threaten rain, so I took out the survival heat sheet and put it up as a pup tent over the sleeping bag just in case.
Is that like a solar blanket?
Yeah, one of the
Okay.
things you reflect
Reflective
inside. You
blankets.
Yeah,
wrap
like the
yourself
heavy
in.
duty ones.
Well, I'm reading the thing, and it's like, yeah, we're good up as a pup tent. Reflect heat inside. Yeah, fine. So that's what I did.
So were you like toasted
It was,
in there?
that was fine.
That's
Yeah,
good.
no problem.
That's cool.
That was a
I've
fun
used
one.
a few of those reflective blankets like that, but
If I'm just me currently in the Toyota, I always have that jet boil in there. And if I throw the pantry box in, there's backpacker meals to make, the freeze dried eggs, and there's stuff in there. I'll just heat water and make one of them.
Yeah.
So, no big deal.
for me, especially when it's warm out, which is when I tend to do most of my solo either hikes or campouts, I really love granola with powdered milk and dried blueberries. And what
That
you
sounds
do,
great.
you add the water in, and it's got to be as cold as you can get it, whether you chill off a bottle in a creek or whatever, so that the milk comes out nice and cold. You leave it sit for a little minute, and just a great cereal breakfast.
Now, is it granola cereal or granola bars crunched
granola
up?
cereal?
Okay.
Yep. So really kind of plain, but something about it
Simple.
really gets me going for the rest of the day.
Right on.
Yeah.
I am generally not much of a breakfast eater. So
Pepsi.
Donuts.
for me, the
Donuts.
quintessential solo backpacking staple is the granola that I make. So it's like a trail mix. So granola with dried raisins and cranberries in it. And then you get these granola encased craisins that they sell,
Mm.
M&Ms, and dark chocolate chips. And a couple of various peanuts depending on what the flavor of the mood is at the time. And I can eat that for breakfast and lunch while camping, and then usually do some kind of a mountain house backpacker meal.
The whole cold soaking thing is really taking off in the backpacking community, especially if you're an ultralighter.
What's
Yeah,
that?
because they don't want to carry the stove.
Right. So these guys,
Oh,
and
make
if you
everything
follow,
cold water.
follow like Darwin on the Trail or Sean Emery, Shug on YouTube, you'll see these guys talking
is
about
that
it.
the hammock? The hammock guy
Yeah,
up
that's
in
the
Michigan?
hammock guy.
I've seen a couple
Oh
of his
man, he's
videos.
great. But they've been talking about cold soaking a lot, and yes, if you don't want to carry a stove, you have like a peanut butter jar basically, and your dry food's measured out so that so many hours or minutes before you want to stop to eat your meal, you pour your water in there and let everything rehydrate, and it's a cold
Oh.
meal. But yeah, it's really taken off in that
Interesting.
community anymore. It's a different
Yeah,
kind of cooking.
Yeah.
That
I
sounds
don't know. Jet boil, not that heavy.
See, to me, JetBoil is a huge piece of backpacking gear, I think. I was used to the alcohol.
Plus
setup
the
before.
benefits of having heat when you could potentially be around non-potable water. You can make
Sure.
things safe, and that's a big
Yeah.
plus to a jet boil.
I don't know. All right, Sammy, what you go to?
Odds are, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to eat breakfast at all. I'm not a breakfast person.
You like Pop-Tarts.
Not a huge fan of the Pop-Tarts, to be honest. So if I'm by myself, if I'm going to eat something, it's going to be a quick boiling bag, Mountain House kind of thing. But I very rarely, unless I'm camping in a group of people, do I eat breakfast.
Yeah, and then when you do, we have 12 eggs. And
Well, we'll
I'm
get to that in a minute.
sorry.
We'll get to that.
It was 60 plus. 12 was just today's allotment.
We're talking about the single camping first.
Benefits of buying quantity.
yeah. So if people are curious how we eat breakfast when we're just together and camping, and Sam or Nick is doing all the major cooking breakfast,
Do you want me to tell them how you eat when I cook breakfast?
sure. I'm not proud. I'm there. Hey, I'm sitting on the other scuttle flipping stuff.
Well, it kind of depends if we're doing a tortilla or not. My favorite all-time camping breakfast has got to be potatoes, eggs on top of that, either bacon or sausage, some sausage gravy, and sprinkle some cheese on it.
Oh
It's
my God.
fantastic.
That's like a KFC
So-
bowl, but
That's what we had
Right
last
in the
Sunday at the
woods.
lake. Yeah.
So either you're no breakfast,
Or I
Oh,
go all
the
out.
breakfast.
fourth gear, full on
Oh,
high
yeah.
speed.
Or you
Wait,
eat breakfast and
if
not
you throw a
anything else that
pancake
day.
and a piece of French toast on there, you've covered like every major genre of breakfast food there is.
Now, see, but when we do a lot of stuff together, we've also fallen into the tortilla wrap breakfast.
But it's the
burrito.
same
Oh,
thing,
it's
just without the
It is.
sausage gravy. And
No,
then
you're
put
right. It is the same
tortilla
thing,
on the
just in a
bottom.
wrap. But my
Sure.
gosh, I like that thing.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be hash browns
Oh, yeah.
or potatoes. The other thing, you got in the habit of buying the canned potatoes. Quick and easy. Get the can open, throw them on
Sure.
there. Man, done in minutes. They're already sliced. They're already in the, the half.
Canned
Yeah.
potatoes.
You never saw
You can
that?
get them for like 98
Oh,
cents a
yeah.
can.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
You want to talk about makes it quick. In 7 minutes,
We can have breakfast
we're
done.
eating breakfast burritos covered in Frank's hot sauce.
If I'm having that much food, it is not a timed event.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like we're getting right onto it.
Well, it's one of those, you start to bacon when you start to coffee, and then
Yeah.
everything else kind of falls into place after that.
My full blown breakfast, especially if I'm out with my wife because she loves breakfast. Sausage gravy in a jar, sausage, bacon, and then biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what are you
love a good
doing to
biscuit.
cook the biscuits though?
You get them already pre-made in like the bakery section, and then you just break them in half and then heat
Warm
them.
them up.
I
Okay.
do love a good biscuit.
You basically cook the sausage real quick because it's pre-cooked already, and then you throw it. You cut it up into chunks and throw it in the sausage gravy as that's slowly heating, and then you cook the bacon and cut that up and throw that in there, and then you heat the biscuits and pour it all together. Delicious.
A lot of times when we're out doing the camping stuff, usually we have an event going on,
Yeah.
or like last weekend we were on the lake every time at lunch.
Yeah.
Today we just kind of rolled right through. We were doing a bunch of video stuff for
Yeah.
knives and stuff. We just rolled right through it. Apples, a bag of nuts. So like lunch is not my big thing camping.
Yeah.
If I have to, sometimes we hit the cold cuts, throw it in.
Yeah.
But again, we're eating another wrap
Yeah.
because we don't have to clean plates.
Or
We
we're
just
and
go in
wraps
your
are
hand
just-
and eat.
You can fit 30 wraps in a size of 2 pieces of bread. It's,
That was one of the big things that we would always do in the Boy Scouts way back in the day too. Was lunch was usually something quick and easy, like either cold cuts or something wrapped in foil, throw it on the fire real fast, because you were either in the middle of an activity, a service project, or something like that. And that's just carried right on through for me. Where usually, I don't do big lunches either like that, but I will.
Well,
stuff you
I think
guys
a
for
lot of
breakfast.
us we're ingrained in show mentality. It's like you have a fairly big breakfast. You eat whatever you can jam in your head between customers
Start
at the
the day.
table, interviews, and then you go home and you have a dinner that will
Yeah.
fuel you for the next day.
The shows that he's talking about are typically gun shows and knife shows where it's a big trade show. There's a lot of interaction with the customers and people. And if you've ever heard of Blade Show, that's a big one for us. And it's definitely something to check out.
The big show.
The
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get back to a decent meal at supper time. Again, most likely on the scuttle.
Most likely in a wrap.
Most-
Not always.
Not always,
Sometimes.
but yeah,
it
a
is
fair amount of
nice in
time.
a wrap.
A fair amount of time in a wrap. Hey, we eat good. There's no doubt, and we enjoy. I mean, we're guys. We enjoy to eat.
My
No doubt
favorite
about that.
dinner meal, though, I think Mike taught me that one, is the tortellini with hot Italian sausage and a tomato basil pesto.
Tomato
Yeah.
pesto, yeah.
I like that.
Oh,
That's
it's
a good one.
fantastic. I know it
We've
sounds
all
like
eaten that numerous times.
Yeah,
Very good.
but it
It
is.
is super
Well,
easy to cook.
Oh, it's
super
so easy.
tasty.
The tortellini comes in a little bag, which
Already
is
done.
super
well,
convenient.
I buy the stuff that's in the fridge section. It's already cooked. You just
Yeah.
kind of got to warm it.
The Italian sausage, you can get 5 on a little, styrofoam plate, so they're not that big. And the pesto jars,
Yeah, but a
Tiny.
little bit goes a long way.
Oh,
yeah.
Stuff.
and that's
a
enough
great-
to feed 6 people easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great meal.
Mhm.
So on a trip like we did this weekend, we're out for 2 days. What kind of sleeping arrangements are you kind of running?
Wait, before we get into that, we should mention too that we use an awful lot of Blue Ridge overland gear to hold all these utensils and everything to
And we're not
take
really-
care of this food. And I think almost all of us have a Dometic fridge in the back of the rig
Yes.
to keep all this stuff cold.
Right now, I have 2.
I know it was funny when we did my truck walk around. I thought it was a Blue Ridge Overland Gear commercial.
We all
I think I have everything now.
Sammy
I mean,
has, yeah, you got a lot.
If
of
you need to
with
see
them.
any of their stuff, all you got to do is check out my Tacoma because everything inside is Blue Ridge.
He just bought that new Cheez-Its bag.
Yeah, I bought the
Did you
cheese
buy the
bag because
Cheez-It
that is
bag?
awesome.
Oh man, I knew I should have got a cheesy bag.
That's
It
cool.
goes between your head. You can reach the cheese.
They're,
If it holds Oreos, I might be
Yeah,
sold.
Mike will be in.
they're
I mean,
probably
you could
sold
probably
out.
put Oreos in it. But
He's
you're gonna
already
have
on
to
his
take.
second bag.
You're gonna have to take the Oreos out to.
and
open
they
them
might
up.
not be in the
Well,
can,
see,
so we'll get back.
we got Sam the family size mega stuffs, which would last him the whole weekend. The fudge mint
No, they're
Not a
good.
fan.
fudge covered
I know.
Oreos.
Thanks.
Minted
much
for
smaller
everybody, but they're
package,
good.
so you have to get 2.
Okay. All right, let's
now
let's
go ahead.
to your sleeping arrangements. Why don't you lead off?
Oh, okay. Well, this weekend, since I'm by myself, and I have tried a hammock, and not a huge hammock fan because I'm a side sleeper typically. I use a cot on the ground.
You've had some
No
quite
tent.
unique
He's had
sleeping
all.
setups.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Well-
I've seen you sleep directly on the dirt
Maybe.
under a hardware store tarp. I've
I'm
seen
surprised
on
you
the
haven't
cots.
gone the whole Australian swag single man.
Those are so cool. I'd love to have one of
What is-
those.
Oh,
The
it's
swag
new
tent?
version.
Swag,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
from Australia.
It's like a bivy sack
Uh-huh.
With
and a
mattress
tent
built.
had a baby.
It rolls down like
Just
this,
put your
but
sleeping
I mean,
bag
it's-
with bows in it to get it up
Yeah,
off
Okay,
your body.
yeah, I've
That's
seen
it.
it.
I almost did.
The
There
thing
was
is,
a-
it seems
It
like
It was
we
an
could-
ARB single man swag on sale somewhere, and I didn't get to it.
Because
in
you
time.
could just set that right on your cot and be done.
Yeah.
or the ground.
Yeah.
But okay, so this weekend I got a cot, I got a thermarest laying on top of that, and my sleeping bag that's, I don't know, at least 20 years old. It still works well. And there is a blue hardware store tarp over top of me
It's
that's
tradition.
connected to the cap in the truck and just goes out to 2 poles. It's like a little roof. Keeps the leaves
But
and
it
fodder
looks
off.
good.
Hey,
It actually
I
looks good.
didn't
The way
know
you
it was
put it
a
on the
hardware
rack,
store. I
it's
thought that
cool.
was an ARB on me.
Well, I sold the last. I've had numerous of those too. I sold them with the last truck. I had
No, that's
ARB.
That's what I mean. He mounted
I
it
bought
good.
Right, it
The
looks,
awning in the
Oh,
room.
well, the ARB. Oh, yeah.
looks
I had
official.
the ARB with the zip-on rim. That was fantastic. Michelle and I would go out and camp. We could her dentist chair, I call it, and then my cot in there because she got a bed back. That fits. We put a inflatable mattress in there one time. That worked great. But I sold it all to Sam, and I'll get some. on that.
It's
the
still on the side of my
room,
truck.
the room that attaches to the awning, and there are several companies that make them, but that is gotta be probably the most underrated
Oh yeah.
sleep setup.
It's a trick.
I have
It's
borrowed
pretty tricky.
Sam's multiple times.
Mhm.
Took my dad on a 4-day camping thing up in Pennsylvania.
It's his official
Loved
guest
it.
room.
It is.
Oh, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I used it when the 3 of us went down to that navigation thing in Virginia.
Yep.
It's stupid easy to use, and it works.
And
It
there's a
works
ton of
great.
room in there for what
Heck
it is.
yeah.
Get the 8 foot by 8 foot. Yeah, there's a ton of room for sure.
Yeah, but one person, the smaller one is.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
fine.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
need the bigger
We always have
awning.
more crap in there. The big 270 awning that I had was Kinsman Hardware. That was bomb-proof, very heavy duty. Sold it with the truck, but that was very nice. The next thing I think I will try is going to be another ARB awning with a room, but I just saw these mounts at Ironman 4x4 America website. They have mounts that go on the back of the aluminum plate for the awning, and then separate mounts that mount to your roof rack. So if you want to if you want to drive your truck away, you literally lift the awning straight up and attach poles, and now the awning and the room are its own standalone
I saw
cabin,
that commercial.
and you can drive the truck
Yeah.
away. And
I like that a
go
lot.
4-wheel. That looks
I like
very
that a lot.
tricky. Because I've had to drive the truck out from under the plastic zip together thing with the awning, and then collapse it on the bed and all the junk.
Yeah.
Go do something, then try to park in the exact same spot and get that thing lined up. Not so easy. But with those brackets and making a standalone cabin almost.
Yeah.
That's next
Because then you
level.
could disassemble the room when you're all done, and then easily attach the awning back to the.
You know the
Yeah,
cool thing
yeah,
about
sure.
those setups?
Yeah,
I
for
can
setups.
stand up in.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, to stand up and put your pants on, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So yeah, this weekend, no tent, just under an awning on a cotton sleeping bag. That's that.
But it's working.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
it's
was a little
working.
buggy last night, so I had to hide in the bag, and it wasn't as cold out as I like it last night, but it still worked. It was all right. I've
Good
slept in
deal.
worse.
What are you rocking, Nick?
This weekend, I've been using my Trucklight double hammock under a Roadhouse tarp made by
Slumberjack.
Yes. And that, too, I think, is easily classified as one of those pieces of gear that is really
Underrated?
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
thing is fantastic. I rolled up to a big family picnic with that one a couple weeks ago. It was just perfect because everybody was able to sit where they needed in the shade. There was plenty of room.
Well, it's half a football field.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
It looks
I've seen
like,
it.
it's huge.
It's a
coming off the
spinnaker
back of your
sail.
car. And it attaches to the back of your vehicle, or you can have other poles and have it be a standalone thing.
Mhm.
But I really like that, so I have that coming off the back of my Jeep, and then I have the hammock strung from the center roll bar of my Jeep to a tree, and it runs right out under the Slumberjack. I haven't actually been loving the hammock, and I have desperately tried to love my hammock because so many people recommend it, and so many people seem to enjoy it and sleep really good in it, and like I have a sort of twitchy back sometimes, so I want that to work so bad, but for whatever reason,
I think you can make
there's
it
a level
happen.
of experimentation that you really
It is.
just have
oh
to
man,
go.
I've tried a bunch.
You have to play with the tension on your hammock. You have to play with the angle that you need to sleep at, and you have to play with pillows. Pillows, I have a bad back. You know
Oh,
how
yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
That Thermarest pillow that I use makes 100% all the difference in the world.
You need to go to Mikey's school of hammocking because he's been doing it a long time. He has his hammock stand. Every time we go anywhere, he's in a hammock whether there's trees or not.
Right.
So he spends
No,
a lot of time in
it's
there. And I think, again, like you said, you got to experiment on it a little bit. We spent 20 minutes with Sammy this morning, and I think he's going to like tonight's sleep after you got him reset up.
So we'll see. I also have a military surplus bivy bag with me. I might actually be switching over to that tonight. We'll see because the lay isn't terrible in the hammock, so that's okay. But for whatever reason, I always end up with my feet higher than my head. And then if I don't put a sleeping pad in there, my back and my feet get cold because my sleeping bag is getting squished against the hammock fabric. And if
Yeah.
any kind of air comes in there, it just chills my feet, and I wake up and I'm grumpy.
Right.
But I slept on the ground for a long time, and maybe that's just
Nothing
the
wrong
best
with
thing
ground
for me.
sleeping. Nothing at all.
Though there are a few ants I've seen in our campsite, and I don't know if I want to snuggle with them.
That's right. The spiders will get them.
There are quite a few spiders and bees as well. Yeah,
Try
that's my
a
setup.
swag. You might dig on a swag.
Maybe
might.
that's the way to do
Yeah.
it for me.
Being on
You
the
should
ground, that
thoroughly
would work.
investigate the
I
swag.
will check that out.
They are cool.
Yes.
They are cool. I actually think I saw a video the other day. Why haven't they caught on in the U.S.?
Yeah.
On exactly what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Maybe I'll jump on.
Yeah,
the
take a look
bandwagon.
at those things.
For me, easy. I'm a hammock guy through and through. If I am
Cool,
by
man.
myself, and even if I'm with my wife, depending on the situation, we both hammock. We also like to sleep in the bed of the truck, so it depends. But if I'm by myself, a hammock 100% all the way. And as LT said, I have a freestanding hammock stand, so that if we're at a show and there are no trees around, I am sleeping in the booth in my hammock. And
has multiple
Yeah.
times. So I mean,
I've put
he's
some miles
he's
on my
walking
hammock.
the walk, no doubt.
Yeah,
And,
we've been sort of camping for 7 years now.
Yeah.
You and I off and on. And yeah, you've always been in your hammock.
Ever
pretty
since
cool.
I got that Trek-Lite hammock back in 2010, I've been using that same hammock.
And you're super minimal.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
What are you,
my
are you
my
using
sleep.
slap strap still, or what are you using now?
No, I use the static core that comes with the Trek-Lite hammock, and I have one of their tarps, and I really love their tarp. But for really nice weather, I've gone to the ENO Dry Fly because it's a much smaller package, and the cord adjustment system is built into the buckles, so pretty quickly I can
Yeah.
get out of setup. It's more pegs than the Trek-Lite tarp, but it's a much more minimal setup.
Yeah, when I'm not running the hammock out of the Jeep like this, I do have, I think it's, Housefly.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. It's a tarp with doors.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting concept. I was.
The Dry Fly also fits perfectly on the hammock stand, which is also an ENO product.
Yeah,
So if I am sleeping outside and have the hammock stand, I can usually just leave it draped over the center pole, and then if it starts to rain, I can stake it out from the hammock and not have to get out.
So
If
when
it
you
starts
do
raining.
colder weather, do you run a pad, or what are you running?
If it gets cold, I'll put a closed cell foam pad in the hammock with me. I do not do the underquilt. Haven't really played with underquilts that much, but I don't get cold that much. Either a closed cell foam pad like a Thermarest, and if it's super duper cold, one of those reusable aluminized space blankets under there to reflect your heat back up.
Wait, you put that inside the hammock?
I put it inside the
Yeah,
hammock.
I tried that.
So
Okay.
I lay on that
That'll work.
aluminum side up. I put
Right.
the Thermarest in there, and I've slept down to 0 degrees in the hammock
I
that
don't hate
way.
that idea.
I've
I
tried
have
that.
one of
It's,
those.
it's
Also,
not
typically
bad.
run a 0 degree bag pretty much year round
Okay.
in the hammock.
Really want to try the quilt thing.
Yeah, I do too.
Not
Yeah.
just for hammocks either. I want to try that for ground sleeping too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sam, what about you for your sleeping? You got some custom or some cool sleep gear.
Well, this weekend I'm set up a little bit differently because I'm running the new truck, and it's not. Haven't had a chance to do anything to it, so I'm just in the hammock
And
this
it's too
weekend.
small to sleep in the back.
Yeah, it's a little.
It is your traditional new vehicle campsite.
It is my traditional setup for the new vehicle. So I just got the hammock strung up this weekend. So having some issues with it last night. I'm hoping that Mike got it situated for me and I'll sleep a little bit better tonight. But normally I'm set up in the King Suite on top of my truck in the high-vis Overland Watchtower rooftop tent.
Yeah, he scurries up the ladder to his rooftop tent and leaves
He
all
brings
of
his own penthouse, people.
Ground
His own
dwellers.
penthouse.
Yeah.
the peasants stand
There's
around.
a 2-inch mattress in there. I can leave my sleeping bag and my pillow in there all the time. It closes right now and I can drive away. It's just incredible. It really is.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I've
it's
done
doing.
the awning in the room on the side. And like you said, it's normally the guest suite for people. I sleep upstairs, and the others can listen to me snore down below.
They
yeah.
stay in the guest wing.
I'm one of the peasants that is slummed in his guest
You
room.
hardly ever tented. You almost.
I tented a couple times, and then
You had some bad tent experiences
Yeah.
though, because you had bad roommates.
Yeah, you've had a few
I've
bad.
had some
See, I
bad.
always
And
loved
then
my
you
sleep.
went to a hammock until you got the rooftop, right? You were in a hammock.
Mostly, yeah. I pretty much ran the hammock for a long time, and then I finally made the switch into the rooftop. And
Right.
And
since
you're
then,
never
it's-
going back.
well, I had to this weekend, like I said, because
But it's, you know,
Well, set up
because
right.
That's sort of a temporary situation.
Yeah.
that'll all be fixed hopefully next time.
once that box from Front Runner shows up at your house, you'll be back
I
in
should
the
be
rooftop
good,
there.
Right on. Yeah. Well, I'm running just basically kind of like what Nick's got. As soon as I got turned on to that slumberjack awning or tarp that goes off the back of my Jeep, Stumpy turned us onto it
Yeah.
here last year. He shows up with one. We're
Stumpy-
all going, what is that? And I think 3 of us bought it the next day off Amazon.
Yeah.
It was like $100 shipped or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a stupid price. And the quality of this, I cannot believe for $100.
Oh,
You
it's
saw the poles
fantastic.
today. You were going like, oh my God, those are great poles.
I don't think
In
you-
all fairness, I have never seen a vehicle that has not worked on.
I don't think they make a vehicle that
No, the
doesn't
way
really
it's
work
set up,
on.
I know I could run off the side of my Jeep, the front or the back, the way it's
Mm-hmm.
set up. So this weekend, since I'm camping without the missus, I'm doing the hammock. I use an E&O double nest because I'm a bigger guy, and I like having the taco wraparound. I really
Yeah.
dig that. Got a big Agnes air mattress inside, so I got spread out real nice. I think I'm rocking my black Wiggy's bag, probably a 20-degree bag, which didn't even need it.
No,
It
it's
was a
not
little
cool.
warm. I do have my bug net on. Got that on, and
I cannot bug net in a hammock. It is
oh yeah, I
too,
can do it, no
too
problem,
much.
man. I can do the
Yeah.
taco thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
No, like I don't mind the hammock covering me. I have no problem with that, but that bug net just like
I
don't know.
It doesn't
It's-
bother me.
it's too much.
You
So
can
I-
just be out of there in
Yeah,
2
it's-
seconds.
it's
Now,
too
Nick
much.
has
Mine
his.
zips on, so it doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, yours is on the hammock.
Plus, it runs on the original.
Yeah.
Nick's got his hammock coming off of his roll bar. I've got mine coming off of my roof rack,
Yeah.
going to a single tree.
But
And this
you
was
still
something.
fit.
As soon as I got this lumberjack and we started using it and just sitting under it and stuff, I'm thinking, man, I could do a hammock camp out. And I was telling him about it. I was like, man, I think we should try this single tree
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
And it is really cool. And now, seeing those extension poles Scott had, we could do a double pole off the other side, clip it off of the Jeep, pull the whoopee straps off of, or whoopee slings off the one end, tie it to the tree, and drive away and come back and hook it back to the Jeep for one do. So
Yeah.
that,
You can
that's,
freestand that top easily.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that Slumberjack, I am their biggest spokesman right now.
Yeah.
That is a
And
We were talking about the corners on that thing. They're
all
double
reinforced.
sewn, they're reinforced. The grommets are nice.
It's
Even the
reflective
cords
rope.
they give you
Yep.
to tie that thing out, and the stakes, right?
Yep.
The
Super
tin
heavy
stakes
duty
aren't junk.
Yeah.
and even the stuff sack's nice.
Not
Yeah, stuff
every
like
part
this.
of this.
All the
And the
seams
price
are
point,
nice
my
and
gosh, how can you beat that price? If something happened to that tarp, I would buy another tomorrow.
I'm
Not
telling
even second
I
guessing
don't think
it.
you could buy that much steel nylon for that price.
I don't know. I would get another
you
one.
could
Yeah.
figure it. No way.
Now, if I didn't do that setup, again, running solo without the missus, I would still run a hammock. The difference is I got an E&O Fast Fly is what I run as my standard tarp. Still set up the same bug net I would have, and just the big Agnes inside, the big air mattress. I would still do that exactly the same for a single run. Now, when the wife and I go out, it's a little bit different. Sometimes we take the adventure trailer, for the company, so we have that big
Yep.
setup. Last weekend we tent camped. Then I went home and cut my tent up, and we're going to be buying.
Yeah, but you made some cool bags out of it,
I'm
so
going to make
it all worked.
What are you looking at for your new tent? Are you going like
you know
There's
what?
some
room,
tents
or
out
are you
there.
going backpack style?
I'm thinking. Have you seen the Kodiak canvas stuff?
Mm.
There's one on
Canvas
there.
is
It's the
nice.
deluxe version. This thing, because again, I like
Yeah.
to stand and put my pants on, and I can. It's like 6, 7 on the inside, maybe something like that.
I've seen some of those.
They're like they might be 10 by 10 or 8 by 8. It's big enough to get 2 cots in because again, when Elaine wants to go, she's at the point. God bless her that she still wants to go out and camp, but she wants to be on a cot, and I can totally understand it because last weekend I was on the ground, she was on a cot.
You know, the Iron Man hardware freestanding ARB room might be something to consider.
Well, we look
Yeah.
after the weekend I did with my dad on Sam's.
Uh-huh.
I was telling Elaine about it. She says I could do this, but we couldn't get 2 cots in the 8 by 6.
no, but if you get the 8x8 room
8 by 8, yeah.
and you make it so it clips onto the side of the Jeep, but it can be freestanding.
Well, that's what
Like-
Sam and I were talking about. If High-Vis is making an 8 by 8, I'm going to look very,
Which
very
they
hard
are.
at it. Because yes, the freestand is just like a cabin, and honestly, it's not that much different than the Kodiak because the Kodiak is really a square kind of box.
Yeah.
It's not a a cabin.
You know,
tent, I
my
guess.
only concern with the freestanding ARV room would be weather. If it got windy or heavy rain,
tie it out,
Well,
man.
yeah.
well, I know
No
you can
different
tie it
than-
out, but because
Yeah,
there'd
it
be
is a
kind
flat
of
roof.
limited,
You'd have to
Yeah.
tilt that pretty good.
you'd have to
Yeah.
really
Get some
angle a
runoff or
roof
something.
corner.
You know what? We hit the rain hard at Etar last year. I just pulled the one corner down on
Yeah.
that, and it.
I'm not
fine.
saying it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's just you would
Good to
really
go.
have to play with
That-
the drainage on
That
it.
Iron Man kit also, it's a whole kit. Here's the part that goes on your awning, here's the part that goes on your truck. They also sold half of the kit. So you could put a kit or
on both sides of the vehicle.
both sides of the car or Sammy could have a set, you could have a set, and just, here, you need the awning this weekend, here, you take it.
Oh, that could be cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was half a kit.
Just do what I do and have an awning on each truck.
Yeah. Or three.
Or
So why don't you have a rooftop tent on both trucks?
Because I got to get the roof rack.
You gotta get stickers too, bud.
Well, those are coming. I think
The
they're in the
stickers
mail.
are ordered.
Good.
Did you order a lift kit yet?
No. I told you last
roof
night
kit first.
that the roof rack's first.
Okay. Well, hey guys, we're at about an hour. This was a fun one. We could probably talk for another hour just on gear and kits. I think we got to come
Sure.
back and talk about what backpacks we carry and why.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
boots
that
and
would be
gloves, because we are
Boots
like
and
a
gloves,
wool.
boots and gloves.
Because once we get into winter and start talking wool, man, we could do an hour on wool
Yeah,
because I am a wool guy. True.
We would have to get Jason on the phone
Oh, no
for
problem.
that one.
He would be a
Lester
cool
River,
guest
man.
to
I
have
am
on
the
too.
big
He's
fan of the
fun.
Anoraks, no doubt.
We are
Haven't been
part
there.
of the Green Wool Mafia.
Oh yeah, no doubt we
If
love
you've
that
ever
stuff.
seen, on Lester River Bushcraft's website, the Boreal shirt,
Right on.
check that
Is
out.
that a different piece than what we all have? I thought
No.
ours was called something else.
No, it's the Boreal.
Okay.
Yeah, I always call
All
it
right.
Anorak. I
Yeah.
just, I,
Yeah, I
Because
see
it is. It's shaped
Yeah.
like an anorak.
Yeah.
They call it the
That's a
Boreal shirt.
Boreal.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, well, guys, we hope you are enjoying our podcast. We surely enjoy just sitting around talking. This is just like you're with us here at the campfire because we're just talking guy stuff, man.
Yeah.
This is what we like. And you know how it is. Scott will go out and buy something new, and then me and Sam are going to have to go buy it because we like it. It's just the way it is. Nick gets
Well,
something.
then I'll buy it.
Trades it to Mike 4 different ways through, they got like a bunch of trades going on. Everybody has cool stuff, so it's all
Yeah,
fun.
there was a couple guns that showed up for shooting this weekend that Nick and I have both owned a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on a few of those 1911s.
So not only did we do a lot of filming and video, we ate good. We shot our bows, we shot our guns. We're going to do some wheeling tomorrow on the way out.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good time. Well, we hope you like what we got going on. Remember, tune in next time to The Shack and LTWK podcast. Guys, thank you very much, and God bless you.
See ya.
Bye.
Someone to tell her